In the quiet streets of northern England, a shadow stalked the night. A man whose brutality shocked an entire nation. A killer who evaded the police for years, and sparked one of the largest, and most controversial, manhunts in British history. His name was Peter Sutcliffe. But the world would come to know him as the Yorkshire Ripper. It began quietly, almost unnoticed. October 1975. A 28-year-old lorry driver from West Yorkshire, Peter Sutcliffe, approached a woman named Wilma McCann. Moments later, she was dead, attacked with a hammer and stabbed repeatedly. Her 4 children woke the next morning to find their mother missing. Police investigated, but nothing linked Sutcliffe to the crime. And for nearly a year, the killer vanished back into the shadows. Then, in 1976, he struck again, and again. By the time the public began connecting the murders, Sutcliffe already had a pattern. He attacked women who were alone at night, some sex workers, some not. His weapon of choice was often a hammer. His strikes were explosive, frenzied, and terrifyingly efficient. At first, investigators believed they were looking for a man targeting sex workers specifically. That assumption would become one of the deadliest mistakes in the case. As the body count grew, fear swept through Yorkshire. Women avoided going out after dark. Taxi drivers refused to pick up female passengers, afraid the killer could be one of them. The press gave the attacker a name that stuck: the Yorkshire Ripper. Still, the police were struggling. Detectives were drowning in paperwork. Thousands of statements were handwritten, typed, filed, and lost. Leads were buried. Information that should have stood out, didn't. In December 1977, 18-year-old student Jane MacDonald was murdered. She wasn't a sex worker. She was simply walking home. The narrative the police had been relying on, shattered. Any woman could be next. The public demanded answers. But the killer stayed one step ahead. By 1978, the investigation was enormous. 200,000 people interviewed. More than 250,000 documents. Millions of hours of police time. But size didn't mean success. Leads were mismanaged. Important clues disappeared into filing cabinets. And Peter Sutcliffe, who had been interviewed 9 separate times, slipped through the cracks every single time. But then, a new twist arrived. A twist that would derail the entire investigation. One day, detectives received a letter, then another, each claiming to be from the Yorkshire Ripper. But the real shock came with a cassette tape. A man, speaking with a distinct Wearside accent, taunted police. "I'm Jack. I see you're still having no luck catching me." To investigators, this voice seemed authentic. They poured resources into tracking the Wearside Jack accent, convinced they finally had a breakthrough. There was just one problem. It was a total hoax. The real Yorkshire Ripper had no such accent. And while police chased the voice on the tape, Sutcliffe continued killing, unchecked.